Woo! Yeah. All right. So here we are, the Barton team. We're together for the first time like ever on a webinar. This is kind of new territory we're doing here. So yeah. Welcome everybody. Are we live on YouTube?
We are live.
All right. So we're going to do a quick introductions and then we're going to get on with the diabetes reversal webinar. So that's probably the reason most of you came today. So we did a new time this week because, well, one, of our travel schedule, and two, because we want people that haven't been able to join us on Tuesday mornings to maybe hop on this Thursday afternoon. So Cheryl, say
Cheryl.
hello. So Cheryl is our Home Cures That Work editor. She also does customer support, and she's been with Barton Publishing for
almost 11
years. So yeah, she's awesome. And then Kevin, I think a lot of you have seen him before hosting a couple of these, and our operations guy, the infamous Dr. Saunders.
Infamous.
Yes. All the way. You have a home here in Utah. So yes. And as well as in Santa Barbara area. So great to be together. And I'm Joe Barton, the owner, founder, CEO, and whatever else needs to be done at Barton Publishing.
Custodian.
Custodian.
Yeah.
Yes. And we've got Eric.
Hello.
Eric is our web developer, tech guy. He helps with our email and whatever else we need that is way over our levels of comprehension in the tech world. And then Leslie is our host behind the scenes, usually on the webinar. She's kind of on the laptop taking questions today. And so, yeah, today we are, we just wanted to intro you guys, but we're not going to all overwhelm you on the camera at the same time. We're going to get started here with the diabetes reversal webinar. So, yeah.
Have at it, guys.
All right, here we go.
Bye, guys.
And they'll be here in the same room. You know, it's really relaxed. We're on the floor. There's lots of pillows. The lighting isn't great. We might actually run out of sunlight eventually. That means it'll be time to end the webinar. So, all right. Today we're going to talk about metformin. Metformin. So metformin, is that the number one most prescribed medication for people with type 2 and type 1, or just type 2?
Just type 2.
Okay.
It's clearly the number one prescribed drug for diabetes, for type 2 diabetes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what does it do?
That's really interesting. So if anybody knows what mitochondria is, mitochondria are the little powerhouse cells inside of our cells. They're like little bacteria, and they make all of our energy for us. And normally the way they work is they love sugar. So sugar is their primary source of energy. But what metformin does is kind of blocks their ability to use sugar, so that they don't use it very well. So it forces the mitochondria to start using fat for energy, which is kind of their secondary, normally their secondary resource. So here, ironically, you have a very high level of sugar, and then all of the cells start using fat for energy.
So what happens to the sugar if it's not being used for energy?
It stays high, and it gets stored, and hopefully in the liver. Some of it gets stored in the muscles as glycogen, or it's made into fat in the fat cells. So it's not 100% great, and because it blocks the energy production, it often has side effects, like intestinal side effects are more common, because the intestines are really sensitive to having this blocking of the energy.
That's what I was going to ask next, is like, what are the side effects? And because I've heard a lot of side effects for metformin, like it gives you, like, I don't know if that was sour stomach or different things like that.
Any stomach problem. You can have diarrhea, constipation, irritable bowel syndrome, acid reflux. Any intestinal problem could be caused by metformin. But worse than that, there are other side effects. When it blocks the mitochondria in the liver, sometimes the liver cells stop working, and
doesn't
so you
sound
can
good.
Yeah, Yeah, the liver can get toxic, and then the liver enzymes start getting elevated. You actually get hepatitis from it, in which case you just have to stop it. And then the other cell that can be sensitive to this is muscle cells. So some people get muscle aches and pains when they take metformin because it's blocking their muscles from using sugar. And if they can't use fat, then they just don't have any energy, and you actually lose muscle cells. They die. So it can be pretty bad if you have a reaction.
So metformin's the #1 prescribed medication for people with type 2. Is that like most doctors will prescribe that as soon as they get to a certain level, or like how do you gauge that as a doctor?
Most physicians are prescribing it in pre-diabetes stages. If you're even pre-diabetes, they'll say, well, start taking metformin so you don't progress on to have diabetes. So, even women with like PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome, are at risk for diabetes. Even if they don't have any blood sugar issues, they will still often give them metformin. So sometimes metformin is given for the potential, to stave off the potential for diabetes. And then it's sometimes prescribed for people who are at risk for cancer, because for the same reason, cancer cells need to use sugar for energy. They don't use fat at all, or very little, if at all. And so it depends on the cancer, but many cancers, if you give metformin, because it limits their ability to make energy from sugar, the cells can die.
That's not good. So is metformin prescribed in different dosages depending on how high your blood sugar is or something like that? Or is it?
Yeah. The dose varies from 500 milligrams once a day, which is a very low dose and probably doesn't work to lower blood sugar very well. It's when you get up into the 1,000 milligrams a day to 2,000 milligrams a day. That's the amount that usually works better for lowering blood sugar. But as you go higher, you also increase the risk for the side effects, the muscle and liver problems. So
what is a better alternative to metformin?
There's a lot of herbal things that work better. So there's some Ayurvedic herbs. There's bitter melon can help, Gymnema sylvestre. And then the one we've primarily worked with is cinnamon. A cinnamon extract of cinnamon. Cinnamon extract, the water extract of cinnamon actually lowers blood sugar and actually lowers all of the risks. So the advantage of it over metformin is that you don't have the risks of like the liver problems and the muscle problems, and even the intestinal problems.
So how much cinnamon do you need to, like, on a daily basis or weekly basis typically? Because in CinnaChroma, our supplement, we have 250 milligrams of cinnamon bark extract 10-1.
So that's a 10-1 extract, which means it's concentrated about 10 times, because the studies have been done with 1.5 grams in some studies, up to 10 grams in some studies. So it just depends on the study that's been done.
Bread prop, please. Okay, so we have a prop here. This is cinnamon bread. I bought it only for a prop, right, guys?
What? We're not going to eat it?
Well, wasn't okay. I cannot tell a lie. Yes, we're probably going to sample this, but okay. So let's say you either have a cinnamon roll, a slice of cinnamon toast. How much cinnamon is in a slice of bread like this or a cinnamon roll compared to how much we have in like this?
Okay. You're getting a few milligrams of cinnamon. So you're not getting anything close to what you would get in a pill, like a concentrate like CinnaChroma.
So this is 250 milligrams and it's 10-1. So it's really like 2,500.
Yeah.
milligrams of that.
Yes.
So you'd have to eat like,
Yeah, it's like 2.5 grams, and you're getting a few milligrams from a cinnamon roll.
so they can either eat 200 loaves of bread and you'd probably gain 150 pounds.
Yeah.
Or you can have one of these. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's what I thought, that the cinnamon, it's not like you can just sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon on your eggs or something, or not that you would do that, but.
So there are a few herbs like cinnamon that can help lower blood sugar in the same way that metformin does, but without being toxic to the mitochondria, to the energy production. They make the body more sensitive to the insulin that you have. And that's good. And then there's a couple of other things that we put in the CinnaChroma. One is chromium. All by itself, if you're deficient in chromium, you can get diabetes. There was a study done in Arizona cancer study, where they were giving selenium to patients, and over time, the ones that were getting the selenium were more likely to get diabetes, and everybody's kind of scratching their head going, what the heck? And it turns out that if you are borderline deficient in chromium and you start taking selenium, which inhibits your absorption of chromium, then you kind of fall off the edge and you end up with diabetes because of a lack of chromium. So it wasn't that the selenium caused diabetes. It's that because they were taking selenium every day, they didn't absorb the chromium. Okay. So we put chromium in there because it's a very common deficiency, and it helps the enzymes to process sugar better.
The enzymes, what enzymes?
Well, there are several enzymes in your body that are required for processing sugar efficiently.
Okay.
And enzymes are proteins, and those proteins don't work well, or they don't work at all unless they have the chromium as part of that protein. So, and your body can make the protein, but it's useless without the chromium in it. Mm-hmm. So if you're deficient in chromium, you'll make a whole bunch of these proteins and enzymes for making energy from sugar, but they won't work very well.
Okay. So real quick, if you're watching this live, thanks for joining us again. We would love to get some of your questions. Also, in the chat or in the Q&A section, you can ask questions. Also, if anybody has ever experienced side effects from metformin, put that in the chat, because we want to hear some of those side effects, so we can kind of see what people are struggling with metformin. So, all right, and hey, Skip, I heard a rumor that you're going to join us live today, so that is awesome. So we're going to switch to you in probably, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes, something like that. Also, if you're watching live today, I have a special announcement. So right before the call, I said, hey guys, could we give these guys a special discount on any of our supplements today? And you're going to be amazed at how big of a discount we're going to give today only. So I'm going to give you a coupon code at the end of this. It's not going to be available after tonight at midnight. So stay tuned to the end if you want to stock up on CinnaChroma, like we talked about, or our other supplements, Nervala, turmeric BP, healthy gut support, and that's going to be fun. So we'll get to that in a little bit. So little housekeeping notes there. Do we have anyone that's chimed in on metformin? So
not on metformin.
Okay.
We have one on CinnaChroma.
Okay.
And then we have a couple questions actually.
All right, let's take the CinnaChroma question.
Okay. I take 1 500 milligram metformin each morning and night. Should I come over here so you can hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay,
hop on, just right here. Join us. Oops.
I'm going to send it to you real quick.
Guys, go
I
ahead
have a
and
question,
feel free to send any of your messages on the chat or the question area, and I will get those, and we will try to answer as many as we can. Okay. Okay. So I take 1 500 milligram metformin each morning and night. If my morning fasting blood sugar varies from 110 to 136, what dose of CinnaChroma is advised? I've currently been taking 2 capsules per day for about a month without much change, 1 per morning and 1 per evening.
Okay, that's That's a great question, because it's going to outline something, and something that's important as far as a principle goes. And that is the morning blood sugar, the fasting blood sugar, has more to do with the diet than it has to do with either the metformin or the CinnaChroma. Metformin does not immediately lower blood sugar. It's a process of gradually lowering blood sugar. And even then, the blood sugar might stay high if you're still eating a lot of carbohydrates. So yes, it helps you to burn fat more easily, but you can still have high blood sugar. So it will not drop your blood sugar low. CinnaChroma works the same way. It does not drop the blood sugar immediately. Like there are several diabetes medications that cause a release of insulin so that the blood sugar drops down. That's not the way this works. So you're not going to get an immediate drop in blood sugar. It's really more over a long period of time. And the most important part is still what you're eating. The diet part is still the most important part.
And I'm just going to address this real quickly. A couple of people actually have said they have different pain, and they're wondering if it's from metformin. So sharp, kind of shocking pain someone has had for a long time, severe diarrhea, chronic stomach cramps. Could those be coming from metformin?
Stomach cramps, it's possible. The sharp pains or shooting pains are generally, they sound like nerve pains, and nerve pain would not be from metformin specifically. The type of thing you would get from metformin is aching, cramping, especially muscles. When you use them, they get worse. They build up lactic acid. You're getting more cramps and aching. That kind of thing would be much more likely from metformin. And the shooting pains, that's nerve pain, and that's probably diabetes, which really has to be taken care of, because if that goes on, then the nerves become numb, and that's where you get the problems with neuropathy and diabetes.
Okay, and then one more, and I'll hop behind the scenes here. What if you're taking more drugs than just metformin? And I'm assuming, how does that work? With supplements, or I guess I'm not exactly sure what.
So kind of drug integration.
Yes.
Like, okay.
Yeah. Metformin actually works pretty well with most of the other diabetes medications. So if you're on glipizide or glyburide or any of the other incretin inhibitors or agonists, those work fine with metformin as a rule, because they work in very different ways. So because metformin works on the mitochondria and the cyclic AMP, that's a different way than the glipizide or glyburide that causes your pancreas to put out more insulin. So since they're completely different, then it's not an issue necessarily. And you can take the supplements with them too, because the supplements are just giving what you need to be more sensitive to the insulin that you have. That's all.
Okay.
So
I jumped in because I have a question here. I have a friend who was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, actually found out in a very shocking way. He ended up with ketoacidosis and ended up in the hospital. It was very serious for a little bit.
Type 2?
I believe so.
Does
that sound right?
Type 1.
well, type 1 often causes ketoacidosis. It's rare in type 2.
Okay. So, and I could be incorrect about that, but I do know that he was given metformin, and
Okay, maybe type 2.
I know that kind of one of the things that happened that I assume was maybe from the metformin is he actually started putting on weight. And I remember thinking to myself, like, that seems like the opposite of what should happen if you're trying to, get rid of diabetes. And so is that something that can happen with metformin?
That's an interesting question. Metformin, because it kind of changes the metabolism to more of a fat burning metabolism, you don't usually see that. In fact, one of the side effects is weight loss.
Okay.
So that drug, you wouldn't expect that to be the cause of it. Now, if he was being given insulin because he has ketoacidosis, so they started injecting insulin, that would definitely cause weight gain.
Okay.
So you can get weight gain from insulin, and there's a lot of medications that cause the body to make more insulin, and insulin is the hormone that tells your body hold on to fat. If you don't have insulin, you can't make fat on your body. So people with type 1 diabetes, they don't have any insulin, and they just start losing fat. They waste away, and that was one of the problems with losing weight. You know, way back when in our grandparents' time, when if a baby or somebody was losing weight, they're like, oh no, they're sick, because losing weight always meant sickness, and diabetes was one of those illnesses that did that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So Scott, I'm going to throw a little bit of a curveball here. I haven't said anything here, but you have a program where you can help people one-on-one, like with their actual health. And like these webinars we do are for information purposes only. We have a disclaimer, like we're not giving medical advice, but you can actually become people's doctor. We refer to it as Dial-A-Doc. And so I would like to give people watching this the opportunity to find out more about that. So if they email us, support@bartonpublishing.com, and are interested in that, can we forward them to you, and then you would, or we could tell them more about that? Because
Sure, you've had experience with that.
Yeah, I've been using your services for, I mean, as long as I've known you, almost, I think 12 years now, pretty much. You've pretty much been my doctor. So yeah, you've been so helpful for me, our whole team. But like you offer that to other people, and that's and it's a great, I mean, if you want to talk a little bit more about what it is.
Yeah. So what I do is a lot different than what most doctors do. Instead of treating the symptoms with a drug, I look for the root cause and ask, well, why do you have it? So a lot of people have sent in messages to Cheryl in customer support, and she's saying that she asked me, well, this person says it didn't work for them, or they're doing this and it's not working, and they want to know why. And so sometimes people need more diagnosis, because there's over 10 different reasons why you could have diabetes type 2. And I've had cases of people who were supposed to be on a ketogenic diet and losing the weight, and they're gaining weight, and they're going, why am I gaining weight? And we had to look at the hormones and say, oh, there's your problem. So I look for the root cause of why they have the issue, and then treat the cause instead of treating the symptoms. Mm-hmm. So some people need to know the cause. And in fact, I think most of the time it works better to know why. Yeah.
And so your program, like, what does it cost? How does it work?
Oh, it's $49 a month. And we work over the phone and email, and people have on my medical records, they have their patient portal, so they can upload any tests that they have. And if I need to add tests, then I just fax to their local lab, and they get tests there, and we go back and forth. I've had people in Texas and New York and South Dakota, and all over the place. And we just go through a process of finding out the root cause.
Yeah,
usually through testing.
It's like the best deal in the healthcare world, I think. I mean, $49 a month, and you can call him with your questions or issues that come up. I've called you with kids that have had appendicitis before and different things like that. We were talking earlier, you get calls when we're together, and it's like, you step aside for privacy. We don't know who you're talking to, but it's like, man, that is so intriguing, all the different types of questions you get asked, and you always have answers. There was almost always. And like yesterday, you said there's one person that you just can't quite figure out what it is. And then this morning you're like, I think I figured it out.
Well, I was up at 4:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I'm on Google, Dr. Google, going, okay, if I, with that, and I just started looking through things, and I think I know what her problem is. So I just emailed her today, and I said, okay, go to the lab, do these. I've already sent the requisition to the lab, so we'll see.
So if you want this guy to be your doctor, which I highly recommend, email us at support@bartonpublishing.com. Leslie, if you want to type that in the chat, just send us an email and say, like, send me more information on the Dr. Saunders Dial-A-Doc program. So and then we'll connect you. So, all right, cool. So let's get back to, I think we kind of covered, any more questions about metformin that have come in?
This is a good one. I'm not going to come over there because my laptop's about to die and I got to stay by the charger.
All right.
But it says, does the supplement help in cancer prevention also like metformin or better?
Oh, good question. Okay. So I would love to answer that in a different way. In the way that metformin works, no, the supplement does not do the same thing metformin does. However, by lowering your insulin levels and by improving your blood sugar, your cancer risk drops dramatically. So by improving your diabetes and not having diabetes anymore, there's a lot of things that are improved, such as Alzheimer's disease, which is type 3 diabetes, right? We talked about that in one of these webinars. Then risks of neuropathy and blindness and kidney disease, kidney failure, and dialysis. All of those risks drop along with the cancer risks that are common with diabetes. So yes, it does drop your cancer risk, but for a totally different reason. Good question.
How much chromium should you take a day?
That's a really good question too. Okay, so chromium, most people in the United States are deficient in chromium because our food supply doesn't contain chromium because it's not in the soil. If the chromium's in the soil, then you're going to get chromium just because it's in the plant, but the plant doesn't need it. So farmers are not going to fertilize their crops with chromium because the plants don't need it. But we do. So since it's not in the food supply, then people should generally take a supplement. And the best way to start is 200 micrograms, which is kind of a standard dose of chromium picolinate is a common one. And you take that for about 90 days because you don't just take one dose in it and it gives you all you need. It's like over a period of time, you're increasing. And there's a curve and you reach the top of the curve within 90 days. It might be less depending on what your current status is. After 90 days, you just take it once a week. So you don't have to do it forever. It's really getting enough and not getting too much. And why once a week? Well, remember the selenium study that we talked about. The selenium inhibits chromium. Well, guess what? If you're taking a bunch of chromium, you're going to inhibit vanadium, selenium, and other divalent cations. The absorption in the intestines of those micronutrients is going to be diminished by this, overwhelming amount that you're taking in the supplement. So generally supplements should be taken on a weekly basis so that you don't inhibit them the rest of the week.
Any other questions on supplements or medications? All right, come on in, Cheryl.
Right, I have a question for Dr. Saunders from Dave. And he asks, I've been following the diabetes solution kit since mid-July, and my fasting glucose has gone down from 136 to a range of 106 to 112. I'm taking 500 milligrams of metformin 2 times per day and a supplement containing cinnamon. Shouldn't do that.
Show her the stick.
Cinnamon,
There we
chromium,
go.
Gymnema sylvester,
Very good.
banaba,
Yeah.
etc.
Banana. Yeah.
Banana. I've lost 27 pounds eating paleo, no breads, potato rice, or any sweets and no sugary drinks. This morning's fasting glucose was 124. What happened?
Oh, okay. Good question. I don't know. Done. No. Okay. So what might have happened? There are a lot of possibilities of why all of a sudden the blood sugar would go up. And all of those things that you're doing are perfect. The fact that you're losing weight, you're eating paleo, and taking those supplements, very useful. But a normal blood sugar can go up to 120 as well. 120 is not a significant jump. And blood sugar goes up and down constantly. So if your blood sugar, for example, overnight, it's getting better and better, and it drops low or relatively low, let's say below 80, below 70, and then your pancreas puts out something called glucagon. When there's low insulin, because your insulin is getting lower and lower, and as the insulin drops, you make glucagon, and glucagon tells the liver, hey, put out more sugar. So all of a sudden in the morning, you have this high sugar, and you're going, wait a minute, I'm doing better, and my sugar's higher in the morning. Well, that may be because it dropped, the insulin dropped low enough that the pancreas made glucagon, which told the liver to make more sugar, and now just jumped your sugar up. So it's not a problem. It's fine. You're doing a great job, and that's not going to affect your long-term work, the work that you're doing for curing or reversing the diabetes long-term.
No one can see me right now, but if you guys have questions about having Dr. Saunders help you, doing the monthly service that he provides, I'm getting a lot of questions about that. So if you guys could just go ahead and email support@bartonpublishing.com, that'll be a great way for us to get all of your individual questions answered. And then one more question I'll ask. How does Nervala work with Metformin?
Very Nervala? Good. Nervala is a supplement that contains alpha lipoic acid and benfotiamine, which is a fat-soluble form of thiamine, vitamin B1. And the way that works is on the nerve cells. It improves the function of nerves. And that's been, both of those have been proven in multiple studies to reverse the neuropathic effects of diabetes. So the reason they work so well together is because on the one hand, you're improving the sensitivity to insulin and lowering the insulin levels. Why did the neuropathy happen in the first place? It's because the insulin has been high for so long, you lose the ability for sugar to get into the nerve cells, and you're losing circulation to the nerves, and so the nerves are dying. So as with the CinnaChroma, you're reversing that process, and then, but you have to wake up the nerves and have them work again, and so that's where the Nervala fits in. So they fit in actually pretty nicely.
So this is Nervala, and you can find our supplements on gardenog.com. And like I said earlier, we're gonna have a coupon at the end for people that are watching live today. But we have had some pretty fantastic testimonials, one of which is with us today. I'm not going to name any names, but if said person wanted to come on and share a little bit of a story, I think that would be very Cheryl.
That would be me. And I actually thought about jumping on. So I had a recent injury to my mouth due to a dental procedure, and it ended up that I had nerve damage in my mouth. Now the doctors wanted to give me pain medication, which was good. I had to get rid of the pain, but my next options would have been surgery to either remove the pain or so forth. But I asked Dr. Saunders, what can I do? I was in so much pain, and he added Nervala to my regimen. And even though this is for neuropathy, it's for nerves. And this supplement and some B12 has gotten rid of the nerve problem almost completely. So if you have any type of nerve problem, this is what I would recommend. And if you have any questions about whether or not he can be useful in your health plan, I would say yes.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, you got B12 shots.
Yes.
And you took that,
and
but you had severe, like you couldn't talk, and you couldn't chew.
I couldn't even touch my face without going into severe pain.
Yeah.
And the pain medication helped, but it did not go away because you need to heal the nerve, and Nervala is helping to heal the nerve. So
today at gardenog.com, you can get Nervala. I don't know how it works exactly. You do, but it's amazing. CinnaChroma, turmeric BP for inflammation, which is good for all sorts of things. Healthy gut support, which is great for all sorts of digestive problems. And listen to the end. We're going to have a coupon so you can save 50% off today I will give you the code at the end. 50% off. They can stock up and get all sorts. I think we have plenty of supply. So we went and toured our largest manufacturing facility today, and I was impressed. Like the quality control, like the rigorous testing, I mean, it was quite impressive. So we see like how they make these products, and
they made us put spacesuits on, cover all over. We looked like surgeons. We had to wash our hands, and we're walking around. Don't touch anything.
Yeah,
we'll post those pictures.
Yeah, we'll post some pictures on Facebook. So, speaking of Facebook, like us on Facebook, follow us, click the button that says "Get all our posts" so you can see that. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, click like. That helps our algorithms to get more people to find us. And click subscribe so you get notified of new videos that we put out. We do these webinars, diabetes reversal webinars every week, usually on Tuesdays. Today it's Thursday. We might mix it up again. You know, we're not overly predictable, but we try to be. So you've probably signed up on the Zoom link. You will get notifications of future webinars, so you can join us live, or you can watch the recordings on YouTube. So we had another topic we were going to cover today, and then we're going to get Skip to join us. So let's Skip, if you're there, let's get Skip on right now. Let's do it. And then we will, after Skip is on, we're going to talk about how to get back on track if you've fallen off the wagon. And let's just say you stumbled across one of these loaves of cinnamon bread, whatever it is. You feel horrible. Your blood sugar numbers skyrocket. We're going to talk about that. So Skip, hey, it looks like he's on. Okay. Yeah, Skip, if you want to switch to video, we'd love to. Yeah, do I need to hit any controls or anything? You got it? All right. So I don't know. Let me see. I probably won't be able to see Skip's unless I hit gallery view.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. Is my volume up? Yeah, Skip, can you hear us? Skip. Is he chatting with us at all?
Not right now.
I see him on the screen, so it looks like he should work.
1 second here.
Maybe I need to change my audio. 1 second here. Speaker.
Oh.
Built in.
Not sure.
How about now? Skip? Or how about now? Skip, can you hear us? And back to this one. Skip, hello?
While we're waiting for Skip, I have one question
All right.
came in. It said, would you advise to do gastric bypass to reverse diabetes?
Oh, okay. Great question. Thank you for asking. We should probably do a whole webinar on this. And that is the idea of gastric bypass is that you shrink the stomach down and then bypass part of the intestines so that you don't absorb all of your carbohydrates that you're eating, and that the stomach is much smaller than it was, so you can only eat 50 cc's essentially is what they do. Well, immediately when you do that, the diabetes improves. Blood sugar goes down, everything gets better. Why? Because you can only eat this tiny amount of food and you're just eating a little bit. So I explained that to somebody once who was very obese, and all her life, even as a child, she was obese. And she's like, you know what? I talked to my doctor, and there's no other way around this. I've done every diet, everything I could do. And I said, this is what happens. And she said, well, why do I have to get the surgery then? Why don't I just eat a smaller meal? Like if I ate a 50 cc meal, then that would be the same thing, right? And I'm like, yeah, pretty much. She went home. She came back like 6 weeks later. She'd lost weight. Her diabetes was, well, she didn't lose a lot of weight. She only lost 10 pounds, but her diabetes was much improved. And I said, what did you do? And she said, well, I'm just eating half a cup of dinner at a time, and that's all I have. And so I don't advise the bypass because I see the results years later, where most people gain the weight back later on. And then because their intestines are bypassed, they're not absorbing certain nutrients, so they get nutrient deficiencies. So I'm seeing people, years after their bypass surgery, they're overweight again, often obese, often have diabetes, but now they have other issues with nutrient deficiencies. So I don't recommend it.
All right, Skip.
Let me unmute him. He says he's there.
Okay. Skip, can you hear us?
He can hear.
We can't hear Skip. Are you able to hear him on yours somehow, possibly? If we switched it?
Are you there, Skip?
We can't hear you. We're having technical difficulties. Eric, where are you? No. Just kidding, Eric. You're fine. I wonder if that's echoing for everybody.
No.
No? Just us. Okay.
Oh.
Hi, Eric. We're just having technical difficulties, but I think we're going to be fine. So, are you eating one of those brownies? Okay,
Yeah,
nuts.
nuts,
That's
yeah.
right.
Okay, we can't.
We wouldn't
quite
have
get-
brownies.
He said, "Can I call in?"
Sure. Give him my number. You can call my number.
Well, no, there's a call in for the webinar. Call in number.
I could give him my number. We could put him on speaker.
Okay.
That works.
I trust Skip. He's not going to call me at 3 a.m. You could text that. Oh, you got it. Okay. Just in case. All right. So while we're waiting for Skip to call in, let's talk about somebody has a bad day, bad week, bad month. They feel like they're failure. Things just blow up. How do you get back on track?
Okay. It's exactly like when people go to Alcoholics Anonymous, Overeaters Anonymous. When you go to a 12-step program, what do they always tell you? Falling down just means you have to get back up again. That's all it is, no matter what it is. The process of repentance and improving your life is always a process and not an event. So I don't think, well, there are very rare people who say, okay, starting right now, I'm never going to eat any sugar anymore. And they don't. But almost everybody is like, yeah, they're like this. And then something happens. They're at somebody's house or at a party or they're on vacation or whatever, and they make an exception. And then the exception becomes the rule. And then a month later, they're going, oh, I got to get back on that program. But you know what? It's okay. It's okay to get back on the program. And that's the cool thing about doing a program like this, is that the improvement that you make is still an improvement. You still are better off because you did it, even if it's for a short period of time. And then you get off it for a while and you go back on it. And even if, again, you do it for only a short period of time, you still get the benefits of it. In other words, well, what benefits do you get? Well, your blood sugar may not be normal, but your insulin sensitivity improved a little bit. And what does that do? Well, now you're not going to get Alzheimer's disease later on, because just this short period of time that you lowered your insulin resistance, or you're not going to end up on dialysis or something, some horrible thing like that. So the small steps that you make forward are in the long run going to be big steps. It's gonna make a difference.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, like, oh, we're getting a call. Skip from Texas. Hello, Domino's Pizza. Can I help you? No, just kidding. Hey, Skip. All right, I'm gonna put you on speakerphone here.
I'm a 77-year-old stroke victim that's had diabetes for 30 years. And for 15 of those, I was given metformin, which worked for a while. And then in 2013, I started taking insulin. When I had my stroke in 2015, I was up to 50 units a day.
Wow.
I finally got tired of that because I've been reading about ketosis. And I went on a ketogenic diet, which about 1.5 years ago, and was not getting any good advice from my doctor. She had, because I was on Medicare, they were having me see a nurse. And I decided I'd take care of my conditions by myself. I mean, I was tired of not getting better. And so I started losing weight. I dropped 30 pounds. I ate the ketogenic diet, which 30% of the carbs and 40% of the vegetables and another 40% of the meat. I started exercising, and now I'm completely free of all diabetes. I take no drugs at all, and I'm down to, in the evening after dinner, I'm down to 110 to 120 on my blood sugar, and in the morning 100 to 110.
Wow, decent.
Wow.
Good work, Skip.
Yeah, that's awesome.
See, it's possible.
It works.
Yes, yes. And if Skip can do it, anyone can do it.
That is awesome. Yeah, thanks for sharing, man. That's encouraging. I hope I have those types of numbers when I'm 77 for sure.
Well, it's a challenge. You have to be willing to commit to the lifestyle and changes in your habits, which most people are not willing to do. But for me, it is just a question of willpower, and that works.
What was your reason why, Skip? Why did you decide just to do what it takes to do that?
I reached a point where I had read something that said about ketosis that it would work. And I decided on my own to take charge of my health and try this diet. And after 6 months, it started fading. The blood sugar came down, and I was taking insulin until last summer. In July, I quit completely. And now I've got some insulin syringes, but I don't need it.
So that's a really good point. And I want everybody to take note of that. Thank you for mentioning that. That it was 6 months when the blood sugar started coming down, and it was a year when you came off insulin entirely.
Absolutely.
That it wasn't just like, oh, I did that for a week and then now I'm all better. It took time. So that's normal, and that's good. That's good that you shared that with us.
That's a lifestyle change, and you just, when you get to be old, you can either live to eat, live and eat right, or die and eat wrong. I mean, you just have to pay attention.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you, Skip. Really appreciate you hopping on here. So thanks for joining our.
I'll hang up and get it back on the webinar.
Yeah. All right. Hey, awesome. Cool. That was fun. That's encouraging. I love to hear from people that have experienced success. So, I mean, we haven't talked a whole lot about this, but this is the Diabetes Solution Kit. This is the printed copy. Most people probably have this already, but if you don't, you can get it off of bartonpublishing.com. It's $19.97 for the ebook version and another $20 to get it shipped, the printed version plus shipping. So, but this is something, it's new and improved version. It's workbook style. You can write in it, take notes, take it with you to the grocery store, keep track of your numbers, and it's great value information that this is the program. So phase 1, phase 2, carb restrictions, and then getting back to just like living for the rest of your life.
Yeah. So essentially what Skip was saying is he did a ketogenic diet, and that's the phase 1 part of our program is a ketogenic diet. So it's a very low carbohydrate diet. And then phase 2 is adding in normal foods, increasing the carbohydrates to tolerance. So you're measuring and you're looking at how you do specifically with certain types of foods. And then phase 3 is how are you going to live for the rest of your life? And that's essentially, Skip went through each one of those phases, and now he's in the phase 3 part. That's really good.
Yeah.
Good you did that.
All right. So we have this blob of
Oh yeah.
blob of fat sitting here. We've been using this as a prop for some Facebook videos we're doing. But this here is what 5 pounds of fat looks like. It weighs 5 pounds. But if you lose 5 pounds, like this is boom, falling off of your body. So I think that's pretty cool. And if you have like 20 pounds to lose or 30 or 40, like
Think about that, man. If that was in my belly.
yeah,
Oh man.
it's not all usually right in the body. And that's
Right.
why like this height,
It's
this
all
is
over,
this
man.
plays, this is like hide and seek winner. Yeah. But just think of this. This is like 5 sticks of butter or 5 pounds of butter, basically lard, fat in your body. What does fat do to your body, your metabolism?
Oh, very good. Very good. Good question. Fat it's a hormone tissue. It actually makes hormones, one of which is called leptin. And the more leptin you make over time, the more you become resistant to it. So as you get fatter, you make more and more leptin, which is supposed to say, I'm not hungry anymore. But then what happens is, as you gain more weight, you're making more leptin, and you become resistant to it. So it doesn't work anymore. So now you're hungry all the time, even though you have all this leptin, high levels of leptin, and you're just resistant to it. So being resistant to leptin causes you to be hungry all the time. And then resistant to insulin causes you to put on more fat. So you're putting on more fat and getting hungrier at the same time. It's just a vicious cycle that the only way to stop that is to start burning the fat.
So if you lose 5 pounds of fat, is that like an kickstart, make it easier to lose the next 5 pounds?
Oh yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
definitely.
So
That
just
makes it
aim for
easier.
5 pounds. Like that's a lot. This is a lot. Like shoot for 5 pounds. If you're having trouble, go for 5 and then go from there. So we're going to wrap things up. So I'm going to share this coupon code now. We have, you want to hold up a couple of these supplements? All right. So our main one, our best seller is CinnaChroma. That is this baby right here. This is our advanced blood glucose support, metabolism support formula. It's got cinnamon, chromium, vitamin D, which is really important, especially this time of year, along with vitamin K2, which helps to absorb the vitamin D. Otherwise, it's pretty much passing
Helps
right
you
through, right?
Use the calcium. The vitamin D helps you absorb the calcium, and then vitamin K2 puts it in your bones.
What he said.
Yeah.
Selenium and vanadium. You can get this at Garden OG. So here we go. This is the coupon code, Retreat50. Is that right, Eric?
Yes.
All right. So gardenog.com. Go to gardenog.com. Put whatever supplements you want in your cart and then enter the coupon Retreat50, and you're gonna get 50% off your entire order today. This is until midnight tonight, October, what's the date today? 24th? October 24th, 2019. 1 day only, actually 6 hours only, pretty much. So we're going to turn the coupon off tonight. So very limited time. Thank you for joining the webinar one last time. GardenOG.com. Coupon is Retreat50. I'll let you write that down quick. Head on over there. You can stock up on these. This is like very limited time, just a special. We're in Utah together, and why not give all of our friends that join us an opportunity to save? So any last things I'm forgetting, Leslie, or anyone else? Hey, let's all get in here and give a wave goodbye, and then we're going to close out. We're going to go watch the Vikings game. So football fans, cheer for the Vikes. We get the Skol chant going. Skol, Skol. All right. Beat the Redskins, hopefully, but I'm just a goofball anyway. So Kevin, I think he may be out jumping on the trampoline. Not sure. Eric, you coming?
Coming.
He's coming. Hey, all right.
All right.
All right.
So
Squeeze in.
thanks for joining us. We love you guys. We're thankful for you. And Dr. Saunders, thank you. Looking forward to doing more of these, helping more people. And have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the fall
Come
weather.
back again.
Yeah. Come back next time. We'll probably be back on Tuesday, 10 a.m.
What's the topic for
So-
next Tuesday?
Ooh, what is the topic for next Tuesday? You seeing any questions coming in that we should? I mean, we touched on gastric bypass. That would be a good one.
Yeah.
So someone did
Maybe
ask us
so.
what topics are usually each week, and I'll usually come up with a list in advance, but we are listening to the questions that you're asking. So post on Facebook and tell us the things that you want to learn more about, because that would really help us. So make sure you go to Barton Publishing. Find us-
BartonWebinar.com
Yep.
has more about the webinar. It has a lot of the products that we've talked about today. BartonWebinar.com.
I hear a lot. Maybe here's a suggestion. How do you get off sweets?
Ah,
the
that's a good one. That's a good
Sweet
one. We talked about
addiction.
sugar,
Addicted,
so-
Yes.
And that causes the diabetes.
Yeah.
Is sugar
Good.
addictive?
Definitely.
Okay.
All
That's
right.
what we're going to do.
All right. You
All
guys
right.
are awesome.
Thanks,
for tuning
everyone.
in.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.